I'm Dr. Lindsay Coble.
Dr. Noelle Crosby, and this is the Sound Sisters, the Hearing Diaries. And today we have Kim Garrett as our guest. And Kim works alongside her husband, Lane Garrett, in Utah. What part of Utah?
Utah County. We're about 30 minutes south of Salt Lake City.
Okay. And she's built something really special that she's going to share with us today. And she works alongside of her husband. But what stands out is really that you've kind of stepped into your own, uh, I guess, what you do best, right, in the venue of working with your husband. And we want to hear all about that today. So we can't wait to hear how you kind of like made that transition from working alongside of him to kind of having your own thing. So welcome, Kim.
Thank you. Thank you.
And
I'm happy to be here.
thanks you. So just tell us a little bit about how you ended up coming into the hearing healthcare field with your husband. How did that evolve for you?
Yeah. So when we met, I'd just gotten home. I'd lived in Brazil for a year and a half as a missionary for my church, and got home and was like, I was looking at the Peace Corps, kind of doing my own thing. Met him, and kind of all the plans changed. But he was just finishing up his, I think his third year. Anyway, he said he was an audiologist, and I literally had to ask what an audiologist was.
Oh,
I
yes.
had no idea
You
what
and the
that
rest of the
was.
world.
Like
Yeah.
everyone thinks it has to do with sound or,
Yeah,
of
yeah.
course,
So that was my first introduction. But really, I mean, I am a marketer and an entrepreneur at heart, so it really wouldn't have mattered to me what he did. If he would have been in construction, I would have done that with it. Like I just love that kind of thing. So he just happened to be in audiology. So what I market and sell is hearing and tinnitus outcomes, but it really didn't matter. I mean, I'm one of those people, I drive past an empty, retail unit. I'm like, oh, what could I put in there? That would be fun.
So
What
you're
an adventure could
always
that be?
thinking.
Do you
He's
have
like,
do you have a degree in marketing and sales, or you just that's kind of your core? It's kind of at your core.
yeah, so my initial degree was in psychology, but then I did go on and get an MBA.
Okay. Psychology, which is kind of marketing at the core,
Kind
figuring
of,
Yeah,
people
yeah.
out.
exactly.
Yeah.
You kind of have to understand how people think in order so that's a good mix,
To
I
make a
think.
decision. Yeah, it totally
Yep.
is.
Yeah.
When did your role with the practice shift from like a support role to really owning it and kind of morphing into all of the things that you're doing now?
Yeah, I think it was probably when my youngest went to school full time, and then I
Mhm.
could really, instead of just like helping out and doing things,
Mhm.
I could really focus on a career of building
What you want
something
to do.
along.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah.
Love that.
And I feel like you kind of already told us this, but what strengths did you bring that were different from the clinical side? So
Yeah,
your marketing.
I don't think like an audiologist. I don't think in terms of, of devices and things. I think in terms of solving problems. I think like a patient who's skeptical and overwhelmed and Googling everything at 2 a.m. and
Mhm.
that's the mindset that I bring. What's going to get somebody in here and what do they expect when they leave? So,
Mhm.
Yeah, it was
Mhm.
such a great mix. I love that.
Yeah, and such a compliment to your
Yes.
husband who has like the clinical side. Such a compliment.
Yeah.
What's it like working with your spouse every day? Do you both show up to the office, or you have a home office, or
Yeah, no, great question. I actually get asked that all the time. It's either the best business decision you'll ever make, or it's a reality TV show waiting to
Yes.
happen,
And
right?
I've had both because I've worked with my husband also. And sometimes it's been like that, and sometimes it's been the other.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I mean, we do both end up in the office. I've always worked from home a little bit more. I concentrate. If I get into the office, I want to answer the phones. I want to talk to the people and things, and I don't get a
Mhm.
ton done. So
Mhm.
I've tended to work more from home. As he's left more patient care, he's worked here too. So we had to build our own spaces in the house to kind of get a little
Focus?
bit of
Uh-huh.
separation. So
Uh-huh.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
it's kind of both.
Is it
Yeah.
hard to separate work? Like at the end of the day, do you guys feel like you talk about and collaborate about work ideas a lot? Or do you have to be like, don't mention audiology after 6 p.m.?
Oh my gosh, that is probably our biggest challenge. Like
Yeah.
we make rules all the time. Okay, we are not talking about work after five,
Yeah.
6 o'clock, or um, we tried to make a rule that we never talk about it in our bedroom, and that was
Oh,
really hard because
yeah.
like
That's when my mind
we sit in these
spins.
chairs and things. Yeah, so definitely not when we're in bed,
Uh-huh.
but it's hard to put fences around it because it's always there. Like it just
Yeah.
never ever turns off. So
Well, especially that he understands. I feel like I try to talk to my husband about the practice and audiology, and it's like he's a construction guy. He doesn't really care. So I like see his eyes kind of glaze over, and it's
Yeah,
like, okay, enough of the
I
conversation.
call it the basset hound look, where the eyes kind of close and
But if he can
yeah.
talk back, I could talk about audiology and business management and the practice for hours if somebody could. So yeah,
Yeah.
it would
yeah.
be hard to
Yeah,
shut
it's
it
been a
off.
superpower and a super weakness at the same time. So
Yeah,
it's been both for
you've
sure.
made it
Yeah.
work. You've made it work.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is hard to balance it. I do know that. Like right now, my husband works from home and I go to the office 3 days a week. And that seems to be really the best. When he
Uh-huh.
was coming to the office, I thought it would be so great to have him in the office all the time. He had his own tile business, so he was always
Hmm.
his own boss. And then he closed that business and then he thought he was the boss here, and that didn't work out for me.
Didn't go well for Noel.
Yeah, so we had to like navigate like what
Yeah.
you're
Yeah.
the boss of that, but I'm the boss of this. And so I don't know if
Yeah.
you ever have struggles like that or
Yeah. No, I mean, that division of ground has been really crucial for us. Like initially we had very clear lanes. He owned the clinical outcomes and I owned everything that got patients through the door, right?
Hmm.
right.
And we kind of tried to do that. If we disagreed on something, we tried to figure out whose lane that was in, and they had kind of the ultimate decision authority. And that
Hmm.
worked for a long time until Lane kind of started leaving patient care, and he started loving making content. He does a ton of videos, he
Hmm.
does a ton of
Hmm.
blogs and things. He really likes that, which was always my area before.
Hmm.
So
Right.
we've kind of had to readjust that a little bit, but I'm okay with that because I've moved into doing some other cool things with AI and with automation and stuff. So
Hmm.
that's shifted a little bit, but we do find if we kind of keep those divisions of ground, who's ultimately responsible, that's easier
Yeah.
for our staff and easier for us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And,
I can
and
see it being easier for
that's
staff too.
the
Yeah. Like
staff.
who's in
That's I
charge?
think
Hmm.
yeah, because that
Hmm.
was our big thing. Well, Michael said this. Well, I said this, and so it's like who's really in charge?
Yeah. Yeah. We would get it a little, there have been times where we've gotten a little bit of the, ask mom and dad says no, or what, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Kind of,
Oh,
Yeah.
we
yeah.
had that a little bit going. We don't see that as much anymore, but that did happen occasionally.
Yeah. And how many staff people do you have?
10.
Okay, yeah. One
And how,
location or
oh
more
yeah,
than
go ahead,
one?
Noel. Yeah.
Sorry.
What was the question?
One location or more than one?
We've got 2, and I am currently opening up a third in Salt Lake. So,
How
All
exciting.
right. So
And
staying busy still.
how long
yeah,
has Lane had his own practice, or how long have you two together had your own practice?
since 2003. So
Okay.
it's been a while.
Okay. Yeah. That's what, 23 years?
23 years.
3 years, yeah. Wow,
Yeah.
that's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
What would you say, what early challenges or what early changes or challenges helped you grow your practice? What like big decisions did you make early on that you felt like that was really pivotal for our future?
Yeah. Yeah. I think we went kind of in a holding pattern for quite a while, until COVID. COVID is
Mm,
what really changed things for us. And it's hard because like everybody else, I kind of look back at COVID with a little bit of a PTSD, like,
Yeah.
but I can also pinpoint that forced us to shift some things that we probably wouldn't have shifted
mhm,
otherwise.
yeah.
And that shift has like almost tripled our net revenue. It's done some great things for us, but COVID made us think about how people were actually making health decisions.
Mm,
It forced us to stop selling hearing aids. We stopped running the manufacturer ads,
mhm,
get $500 off or whatever, and we started explaining problems. We started educating patients. We started talking in terms of treatment instead
mm,
of terms of
mm.
retail model, and that has made all the difference for
That's
Oh,
us.
I love
amazing.
that.
It's almost like
Yeah.
COVID gave us time to think.
Yeah, I
Time to
think
Yeah.
like
so. Like
not,
we were on this wheel and all of a
yeah,
sudden we stopped and we're like, oh, what do I do now? And what do I want
yeah,
Yeah.
to do? And
yeah.
Yeah.
It's a blessing and a curse of a time
Yeah.
frame.
yes.
Don't want to go back, but I'm grateful
No.
for what we came out with.
Yeah.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
So I know I sat through your marketing presentation at Entheos a couple years
Yeah.
ago. And I know that you wrote a book. Did you write? Yeah. So will you tell us
I
a little
did.
bit about like what your marketing ideas are? What can you
Mhm.
share with us today about that? And maybe we'll talk more about how people can get in touch with you too to learn
Mhm.
a little bit more
Mhm.
about it.
Sure. So one of those things that came out of COVID was just realizing we needed to educate our patients better before they ever even came in. We needed to decide which ones we could really help. I mean, in a finite time system, we can't bring every single person in just to give an evaluation.
Mhm.
We need to bring those in who we really can help.
Mhm.
And the way that we could do that best was with some automated education materials. And so we created a system where we pre-educate people. We send a video either on hearing loss or tinnitus. That's where we specialize, and ask them to watch that before the appointment, so they understand what our treatment philosophy is, what options are going to be available,
Mhm.
how we decide which option to present, all of that kind of thing. We send them some social proof, send them some video testimonials of patients who have been successful with the treatment that they're seeking. Try and kind of knock down some of those objections before they come in. But to do that effectively, you really need an automated system, right?
Mhm.
So we just created and refined and created and refined and tested and all those kinds of things. And it started working really well. And once we got accepted as a linear provider, I knew that the leads that Lanier was going to send were going to be ones that we didn't want to spend a lot of time chasing down. We wanted to
Mhm.
only spend our front office time talking to the ones who were really ready for treatment.
Mhm.
So we created a system to kind of weed that out a little bit. So once we did that, Lanier was kind of like, could you do this for other people as well?
Mhm.
And so with the partner Trevor that I have, who was helping me develop that system, we just kind of started doing it for other people, and that turned into Karmic Automation, which has been great. I mean, it's allowed me to get the exact system that I want, the way that I want it. It's very robust, like everything from nurturing leads to nurturing patients. We keep people on track for treatment, make sure they're coming in for cleanings and checks and updates and all that kind of thing. So that's been great, and we've just started doing that for other people over the last year. We've got a bunch of clients across the country, and that's been great.
Wow.
About every month or two, we innovate some cool thing that like events. One problem that I was having was, I wanted to do events where Lane could speak to people about tinnitus or hearing loss or things, but getting people signed up and reminded and all that kind of thing was kind of a pain. So we created a system where we just insert all the information in a landing page, have a URL. We can do radio ads or Facebook ads or anything, get people signed up. They get automatically reminded, all that kind of stuff, automatic follow up. And that's been huge for us. Those types of automations have just made our lives a
Mhm.
Yeah.
ton easier.
Mhm.
And do you feel like people ever feel like it's not a real person doing it? Do you feel like the patient knows that it's more automated? Or you know how we always say that we
Mhm.
want to keep the humanness to healthcare. But I guess once they get into your office, they find that. So just if
Yeah.
you can find ways to get them in where they feel like it's not just a machine,
Mhm.
sending
Yeah.
things out.
There is a fine balance between that. We do have, I've got somebody who's in charge specifically of that automation system, and so she steps in and when people are actually when they start interacting with us, when they start texting back or things like that, she steps in and
Mhm.
actually has the conversation. Although I've been testing some things that the AI stuff is getting so good. It's getting so good, and it's so helpful to be able, if you've got a tinnitus patient who, they text in the middle of the night, they need some help and some information. My system can answer some of their basic questions and at least get a phone call set up the next day so that they feel like they're getting help. So
Mhm.
there's just that fine line between how do we use it effectively and how do we keep the
Right.
human in it. And we're just always testing that to see how we can best use both of those worlds.
Mhm. Yeah, I feel like you said, I've heard a couple of AI automation, even like phone call answering, and how you can train emotion into AI is amazing now. I mean, yeah,
Yeah.
it's incredible how you can train it and
Yeah.
teach it to follow a script and learn how to troubleshoot. And
Yeah.
It's crazy. So
Do you want to
thank
know
God
some
for people like
crazy?
you, Kim, who have
Yeah.
the knowledge to do that, because I would have no idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
What's
that's kind
crazy?
of what we do. Yeah, there's some crazy data just coming out that because the AI doesn't have feelings, it doesn't get its feelings hurt when people ask questions and things. The conversion into treatment, when the AI gets people into offices better and they convert better, just because the AI gives them information like without emotion. It's not,
Oh, I love that. Yeah.
it doesn't read into, oh, I don't think they really want to go forward
Hmm.
or those kinds of things.
So
It just gives
interesting.
the information. So there are some things that are going to
Yeah.
be very useful for clinics who are
Hmm.
forward thinking down the line.
Or like
Hmm.
even just when you think about it, like, oh, I was rejected, so I'm not gonna, because when
Going to do it
somebody says
again.
that, I
Yeah.
feel this
Yeah.
way. Yeah, it doesn't
Yep.
have a way of
Yeah.
feeling. So that's really
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or like a
Yeah.
sense of frustration, you can tell your front desk people sometime on the phone. It's like, just calm down, calm down. You don't need to
Yeah.
get frustrated or defensive. It's like, yeah, AI automation doesn't get
It
frustrated or
doesn't care.
ruffled
Yeah,
or
it doesn't
ruffled.
care.
It's just a
Yep.
bot.
Just
Um,
moves on.
so you talked about Lane doing, and I know I've seen Lane doing presentations or like lunch seminars or whatever it is. Um, did you guys ever like find yourselves getting away from that and now you're kind of back into it, that like this is working again? In-person seminars are working. I feel like people sometimes are like lunch and learns are a thing of the past, or
Yeah.
physician marketing's doesn't work like it used to, or whatever. So just kind of like, how have you found that in-person touch to work for you guys?
Yeah, it's kind of a cycle. We've kind of gone up and down. I would
Especially
agree.
23 years in business, I'm sure you
Yeah,
have. Yeah, yeah.
it definitely used to work better, and then it kind of went through where everybody was doing it, and we kind of backed off. Then we kind of started doing it again. It hasn't been our most successful thing, and honestly, for me, it's so much work to kind of get those events. It's less now. We've got a system down, but it is kind of a lot of work compared to doing other things. But the bonus of those is you essentially give the first part of your consult
Yeah,
in
in
that
person.
to a whole
Yeah,
bunch of people at once, right?
yeah.
So when you do bring the people into your office, they've already heard a bunch of
Hmm.
it and they're ready, they're
Ready to
kind of
go.
ready to go.
Yeah.
So there is that advantage. We do kind of go back and forth. Like I'm going to do a bunch of them when I open that new office, just because I
Hmm.
think it'll be
Right.
a new
Get
thing.
word
And we
out.
have, yeah, we don't do lunch and learns. I don't provide lunch because I don't want people coming
Coming
in,
for the free lunch.
just for that. We have the best success if we do a very specific topic. So if we do tinnitus, or if we do, the link between cognitive health and
Hmm.
hearing. If we
Hmm.
do a very specific thing, that goes a little bit better for us.
Do
So
you
just
do them
those kinds of
mornings
things.
or afternoons if you don't provide lunch? Do you do it over the lunch hour, or do you find like 2 p.m. works well, 9 a.m. works well
Yeah, the tinnitus one we actually did at night because we figured a lot of the people we
after
wanted
work?
to attract were
Or
working.
something. Yeah.
So that one worked really well for us. We were packed, we were overbooked. I was kind of lucky it snowed that day because we had more people not come than I
Mhm.
expected because we were way overfilled.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
That's
So
great.
that makes realize that, that's a topic that a lot of maybe younger working people would
Yeah.
want to know about. Well, what's something that you tried that didn't work but taught you a lot?
Yeah. We, I think my biggest thing is we tried to do everything. We tried to do balance. We tried to do APD. We tried to do earwax. We tried to do diagnostics as well as hearing and tinnitus. And you can't be, if you're doing everything, you can't be good at anything,
Hmm.
Right.
So we kind of really dialed in and we specialize in hearing and tinnitus.
Hmm.
And we don't do a ton of diagnostics. We don't do AP. My husband, every once in a while, he's fascinated by balance and APD like every other audiologist I've ever met. And he every once in a while he's like, well, maybe we should. Nope, nope,
No.
we're not going there again. So
Yeah, it's like we went
just
to a
staying by.
restaurant I was in Peru with here in the call last week, and
Yeah.
we went to a couple of the restaurants, and they had every single kind of food. They had
Hmm.
pizza, they had
Hate that.
traditional,
Hate
they had
menus like that.
Italian,
Uh-huh.
and we were just looking at these menus thinking, this is kind of scary because where are they getting all these different foods from and storing them? And so
Yeah.
when you try to do too much, like you think you couldn't really be, like you said, you're not really going to be a specialist in one area.
When I feel like when you
Yeah.
go to a restaurant like that, it is like that, where it's like, none of it is going to be like the best
Right.
food you've ever had. And so you're
Yeah.
just like, everything's mediocre here. So yeah, I love
Yeah.
that. That's a
They
good.
do it all, but do they do it good? Well, you know?
Mhm.
Yep. Yep. You
And
Yeah.
I
can
feel
go
like
broad
that's
or
a
you can go deep.
yeah, I
Yeah.
feel like that's
Uh,
a challenge of like early on. Like I'm 3 years into my practice, and I feel like my head spins probably like lanes of like all these opportunities. But it's
yeah.
like that's a good lesson to just focus in. And I've had to do that a couple times. Like bring it
Yeah.
back to what are we good at here? We can't be everything to everybody, and that's hard. It's
Yeah.
hard
It
because you
is.
Yeah.
want to be. You want to be the hero to everybody.
Yeah.
Years ago, when we were in Audiology, they had us really refine like a mission statement. And I know that sounds cliche, but what that has helped us do is every idea that we get, we measure against that mission statement. Does
I love
this
that.
fit within
Uh-huh.
here? And
Yeah, I
if it
like that.
does, we explore it. If it doesn't, we leave it for somebody
Let it
else.
go. Yeah, I love
Yep.
that. Love that.
Yeah.
This I like this question, Noelle, but so Kim, from your perspective, what do patients really care about that sometimes we as audiologists miss?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't think they care about your technology nearly as much as you think. They don't want to know features. They don't want to know anything. They want to know, do you understand what I'm dealing with and can you help me?
Yeah,
Right.
And that's it. Like
such a
if
good
you can
point.
dial in on their why and just give them a solution. Like we don't even tell patients what brand of hearing aids we fit them with
Mhm.
anymore. They don't care.
Yeah,
They
they
just
don't.
want to know
Hmm.
it's going to fix the problems that I'm having.
I
Oh,
was
I
even
love
thinking that
that.
over lunch that I'm like, I don't really talk about brand either, but I'm like, I wonder if people care. I don't think they do. I don't think
They
they
do
Yeah.
know.
not.
The
Well, if your
majority of
friend
people, I
has
don't
a
think they know.
Sharky or a Windex, you know,
Yeah,
or
Yeah.
yeah,
Opticon,
An
yeah,
then
Opticon, my
yeah,
favorite Opticon.
yeah,
then sometimes you're like, okay, we know you've been talking to somebody. And then
yeah,
that makes it harder sometimes because
Yeah.
sometimes with everything, like if you just have a little information about something, it can be dangerous to
oh
all
yeah,
of us, you know.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
think we know something about something and we don't too,
Well,
you know.
now we have Chat GPT doing our jobs,
Yeah,
answering
yeah,
their
Yes.
that's
questions before
true.
they come in. It's like, oh,
Yeah.
That is true.
Well, let's just talk about a little bit about your leadership
hmm
role and growth. So, did you ever struggle stepping into a non-clinical role? I guess not because that's your specialty, and you guys kind of came to the business knowing your roles.
hmm
But what helped you along the way, being in a field that was, more of a medical field, what helped you get your confidence and voice in this field?
Yeah. So when we started specializing in tinnitus 6 or 7 years ago, I learned a ton about it. I helped my husband. This was back before like Oto. There was nothing. There was no CBT
hmm
tools, and he liked doing TRT, but it took so much time, and so he wanted to create. A tool that we could use, but without his involvement. So years ago, we created a 9-week online course called My Tinnitus Therapy that we provided for our patients. And I did a ton of it. I had the
hmm
background in psychology. I honestly know probably more about tinnitus than a lot of audiologists, but without that AUD behind my name,
Yeah.
it kind of put
Right.
me behind the scenes in the conversation.
hmm
Which is okay. I mean, I can do a lot from back here, but that is why eventually I did go back and get an MBA,
MBA.
even though I know the same things that I did before. I mean, the MBA was helpful, but having those letters behind my name, I do get more credibility for
Yeah.
whatever reason.
hmm
And maybe it's just me. Maybe it gave me the confidence. I don't know.
Oh,
Uh-huh.
yeah.
But
Yeah.
but I do have a little bit more legitimacy, I feel like, with it.
Yeah, that's interesting. What we kind of talked about this, but what opportunities do you think practices are missing, or what like futuristic opportunities in your mind do you think are coming that
Yeah.
audiologists we can't have our head in the sand? Like, what it's coming in your perspective?
Yeah, I think that most clinics underestimate how much patients research before they call, and especially with
Chat
ChatGPT
GPT.
and Claude and all of that.
Uh-huh.
If you are not showing up as the authority online, you're losing patients you never even knew
hmm
existed, right?
hmm
Yeah.
And they don't know you exist. So you have to build trust by building content. I think a lot of people think, oh, I don't want to be on camera. I don't have all the equipment, that kind of thing. Like people actually trust the videos that you make. Get one of those little stands on Amazon that has
hmm
the little ring light and the little holder and
hmm
just talk about answer your top questions. Do you take
Mhm.
insurance? How much does your treatment cost?
Mhm.
Is it going to work? Those kinds of things. Answer those things, put that on your site. You're building
Credibility.
credibility.
I love
Yeah,
that.
that kind of stuff matters so much. And just putting some of those kinds of things, writing some very thoughtful blogs, establishing yourself as the authority in your area is crucial.
Yeah, I like that. It's given me some ideas just thinking about some of the things you're talking about.
Uh-huh.
Well, for now, we're gonna wrap it up and start with our rapid fire, but I feel like
Mhm.
you have so much more information to offer too. So how could people get a hold of you to learn more about some of the strategies that you're using or to work with you for
Sure.
their marketing?
Sure. So our website is karmicautomation.com. We kind of went with karmic because it's karma. You put good out there and good comes back,
Oh,
I
right?
like
love
that's
that.
good. Yeah.
Yeah, and then people can just email me. Honestly, I answer a lot of questions. A lot of people, every time I go to like an Entheos event or things like that, I get a lot of questions. So yeah, just email me at Kim at karmicautomation.com, and
And
I'm happy to
we'll
get in
post that
touch.
below
Yeah.
too, so people will have access to that. Well,
Thanks.
let's
Great,
move
that'd be
on to
awesome.
the rapid fire.
Let's
What
do
is
it.
Oh
one
shoot,
word
I
that
lost you.
describes you? Oh, sorry, you lost me?
There
Can
we
you
go.
hear
Yeah,
me,
it
Kim?
paused for a
Oh,
minute. Okay, I'm
we're
good.
back.
Okay. What
Yep,
is one
yep.
word that describes you and why?
I try to be a builder. I think a
Ooh,
builder
that's
is
a good one. A
Builder.
builder. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
I like that.
I like that
What's
too. I
what's a
haven't heard that.
skill you would love to master overnight?
Google Ads. I am
Oh
missing a
God,
lot there, and it
me
needs more
too.
attention than it
And it
gets.
changes all the time, doesn't
I
it?
know.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, let's see. Where do you see, what's one thing that you would tell your younger self?
I would say stop trying to control everything. You build
Mhm.
something better if you just don't overthink every path.
Mhm.
And I'd
Yeah.
probably tell myself to get a therapist earlier
Oh
than
yeah,
I
me too. Me too. Yeah, me too. One of the best things I ever did a couple years ago.
Yeah.
did.
We
Yep.
talked about
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Yep.
Where do you see hearing healthcare in 10 years?
I think just more technology. The clinics
Mhm.
that win are going to be the ones who communicate the best, not just the ones with the best, not even with the best care or the best devices. You can be the best audiologist in the world, but if no one knows you're there and no one
Mhm.
Right.
trusts you, they're not going to come see you.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Love that.
Oh, what's a coffee order or whatever drink you like that keeps you going?
Diet Dr. Pepper all
Oh,
day
there
long.
you
Diet
go.
Dr.
There
Pepper.
you go.
I think I have one sitting right here.
Right there.
What's a sound that makes you happy?
This is so cliche, but I have my first grandbaby and I just love to hear her
Oh, I
babble
love
and
that.
chatter. But I
Yeah.
also like the
It
sound
really
of a
is.
can of Dr. Pepper opening
Ooh,
too.
yeah.
So,
Somebody else said that
Somebody
about a
else can say
can
that.
opening.
Diet Coke,
yeah.
I think. Yes, funny.
Oh, that's funny. What's one thing our profession could do better?
Hmm.
Um, I think, understanding yourselves as medical professionals, not, get out of that retail mindset. But the other thing is really get on board with AI. I know so many people who are just like, "Oh, it's the devil. I'm going to move away." And I'm like, "All right, I'm not having anything to do with it." And I'm like, "You're going to get left behind. You
Uh-huh.
cannot
Yeah, I
like it.
feel like
That's
that. I do
that's
feel like,
fine, but also this is what's
Coming.
coming.
Hmm.
So
yeah,
Hmm.
if you don't
got
get
it.
on board, you're going to be left behind on your moral high ground.
Yeah,
Uh-huh. Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Okay. What's one B that fits you best? Be kind, be brave, be curious, be bold, or be happy.
I'm going to say bold, but I like to think it's
So,
strategically bold.
yeah, it is. Yeah, I like that. I like that.
Yeah, that's
Well,
very nice.
Kim, thank you so much for joining us. You have such a unique perspective to our industry. We can
Oh, I
all learn
loved
so
it.
much. I know from someone who's worked in the clinic but has more of the psychology and business knowledge. So you've really shown others that you don't have to be an audiologist to find your place in this field. So thank you so much for sharing. And we will
Yeah,
link your webpage that people can find you and your email that people can find you. So thank you so much for joining.
yeah. And
Thank you
don't
guys.
forget that
Yeah.
you can reach out to her. And oh my gosh, I just love this conversation. It was really wonderful. So don't forget AAA's this week, and we will figure out what's going to be new. We might be. I know Lindsay's not going, but I'll be. Are you going, Kim?
I am not. I am
Okay.
not.
So I'll be at the exhibits. I'll bring back whatever new
Yeah.
things I hear about.
Find all the
But
newness.
thank you guys.
Yeah. Thanks for watching us today on the Sound Sisters, and we'll see you next time.